Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, this is going to be a reading on Donald Trump's speech that he did on Friday night. It was at a Christian conservative crowd, basically saying if they vote for him on election day, they would never be obligated to vote again. Now, obviously, Trump and Trump's team feel that they need to get the evangelical vote, Christian vote, out there for Trump to win. But the words he was using are alarming. Not a surprise, mind you. It's underscoring how important this election is. And I'll read you a quote from this article. Quote, this is Donald Trump at the rally. "I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote." This is at the Turning Points Actions Believer Summit in West Palm Beach. Continuing the quote. "Christians, get out and vote just this time." He's imploring people to get out and vote because, well, this is his only chance of getting elected, right? After this, he's dog meat. So, whatever he can do to get them to vote, he's going to do that. Continuing. So let's read the rest of it so I stop interjecting. "I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote. Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years. You know what? It'll be fixed. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good, you're not going to have to vote." What precisely are you going to do such that they don't have to vote anymore? What's going to be fixed that they don't have to vote anymore? Now, notice how he's not specific on what he's going to do. Trump is never specific. He's always vague. That way, anything he does can be, quote unquote, delivering on the promise. The biggest fear we have is that, well, we'll lose a democracy and we'll have a dictatorship. And, you won't have to vote anymore because you won't be able to. Or you'll be told how to vote. You know what I mean? Kind of like how, Saddam Hussein used to get 99% of the vote and Putin can get most of the vote and stuff like that. Xi Jinping gets most of the vote because they tell you how to vote. And there are consequences for not voting as you're told. And we all know that Christians just want to be told what to do by a deity of sorts. A lot of people like that, actually. So it's alarming. What would he do? Is he going to set up a Christian council, basically the American Christian Taliban? Probably. Have morality police running around telling people what to do and how to do it, following the tenets of God as they interpret them? Absolutely. Would they care that atheists, agnostics, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, that they wouldn't want to be told what to do by these Christian Taliban? No, they don't care. You're going to do what we tell you to. Folks, it's really important that you get out and vote. Now, again, he'll deny it. "Oh, I never said I was going to be a dictator." But you know what? You read between the lines. You've seen what the Supreme Court's ruled. This is what's opened up. This is what's available to us. So I'm going to look at the energy around Trump at this Christian conference, and I want to see if he resonated with Christians in that area. Did his message get out, and did it have the big impact that he was hoping it would have? Okay? Entertainment purposes only. Let's take a look at that Donald Trump, that good Christian, who holds Bibles upside down and backwards and can't cite his favorite passage because he's never, ever opened that book before. But Christians give him a pass because he says he loves guns and Bibles, and that's all they need to hear. Entertainment purposes only. My deck is upside down. All right, 8 of Swords is the foundation of the reading. This is, looking at asking about the general reading around this. It was a 75-minute thing. And, you could have the vibe that some people were like, "Oh, I got to stay for this whole thing to get paid." No, like being held hostage. This could also just be the Christians feeling like nobody's hearing them. They're just hostages. They're victims. They're being repressed. That that whole narrative that the American Christians are just dying for a crumb of oppression. It doesn't matter that it's the most populous religion in the United States and I think throughout the world. But no, they're the victims. They're the oppressed ones. 2,000 years ago, sure. Not so much now. But, it fits that narrative of Donald Trump. Donald Trump, this wealthy billionaire, this real strong guy who's always a winner, but he's also a victim and always oppressed. So they resonate with him. They resonate with Trump and his victimhood. Oh, geez. Maybe they should read their Bibles a little bit more. Crossed with the 7 of coins. You reap what you sow. Like a good televangelist, I'm sure he collected a lot of money from them after his little rally there. And they probably had to pay, who knows, money raised. But here's the problem. If you keep victimizing yourself, you're going to end up being a victim because that's the energy you're putting out there. And the thing is, you're never not going to be a victim because all the time you're out in this world, all you're looking for is justification that you're a victim. Which means you're never not a victim because you never actually overcome the mindset that you're a victim. Even when you're not. And people start dismissing you because, you're just looking for somebody. It's like a hypochondriac trying to find a doctor to prove to them that they're sick and they can't do it. So they always think they're sick. They never once for a moment think that they're not sick and it's all in their head and that they need to get some help or move past that. Underneath it all is the 5 of Cups. And they're disappointed. Yeah, not only are they victims and they reap what they sow, but then they're disappointed that the very poison plant yields poison berries and they can't understand why God doesn't save them. The lesson that we're learning from here, excuse me, still getting over this cold here. The lesson to be learned here is God's not going to save you. You're going to save yourself. What's the analogous situation of this? It's us with this election. Nobody's going to save us. God's not going to save us. Our Supreme Court's not going to save us. Our political leaders aren't going to save us. The FBI, the Department of Justice isn't going to save us. It's us that's going to save us. It's us going out and voting that's going to save us. And it's the same thing with the Christians. If they want to be oppressed, they're always going to be victims. And they just want to pray and say, God, save us. We don't want to actually do an ounce of work. We just want you to come from on high and smite our enemies, whoever they might be. And then everything would be grand and glorious. The problem is you're still in that victim mentality, which means that if all your enemies were smited or smote, you still wouldn't have the right mindset to not be a victim. You would then start looking at the new group of enemies as, those happy Christians. Clearly they stole your happiness. This is just Donald Trump in his rabbit hole of misery, surrounding himself with people who are in a rabbit hole of misery. In the past, you got the 5 of coins. Oh, the Christian right. They feel so ignored. The government doesn't allow for this. Doesn't allow for the joining of church and state. There's a separation of church and state here. Also, likely the folks that feel the most victimized are the ones who are suffering the most financially. And they feel like society has abandoned them. They're the victims. But they're not asking their government to fix anything. And that's the problem. The Democrats are trying to put programs in to help resolve economic issues for poor people or less educated people. But these people, instead of supporting the Democrats and the programs in place that are going to help them out, they'd rather be a victim and listen to the Republicans say, well, that's because the liberal elites want you to be that way. They sent all your jobs away. You should hate them for the rest of your life. type of thing. Current situation is justice. Divine justice, legal justice. They want justice. They're victims. There's got to be justice. Who's, we're reaping what we sow. Well, we didn't ask for this. This is not what we wanted. We prayed, Where's the justice? I know. We need to take justice on the people we're told who are our enemies, who caused this to us. That's who we want justice against. When the true justice comes from within. Overarching energy is the Queen of Swords. Donald Trump's making it very clear that he's going to be their sword of justice. And he's explaining exactly what he's going to do without explaining exactly what he's going to do. All you have to do is put me in charge. I will fix everything. It's that, again, that perceived problem that they didn't realize how oppressed they were until they were told they were oppressed. The minute they were told they were oppressed, it makes them feel good because it takes away all responsibility for making their lives better, and it blames it on somebody else. And then their strongman comes in. Hey, you're oppressed. It's not fair. I know who's to blame. Just give me the power and I'll take care of everything. The lesson to be learned is the Ace of Cups. This is not working on swords, which is intellect. This is working on cups, which are emotions. And people will vote with their emotions and their passions. They're too caught up in their miserable little lives to actually think this thing through. They don't want to hear logic. And this is what's so infuriating, is that you can hit them with fact after fact after fact after fact. And they don't want to hear it because the facts are on the left side of the brain. This is my left. It's probably right on your screen. But all the facts are here. But the emotions are on this side. And these two sides are split in the middle. They don't talk to each other. So you get your choice. You can be logical or you can be emotional. Now, please note how the right always talks about the liberal snowflakes, the blue-haired, nose-pierced snowflakes. They're all in their emotions. Yet, it's the right that are really up in their emotions. They're with their cancel culture and wokeness and all that stuff. It's all fear-based. Oh, the brown people are coming over the border and they're going to take your women, take your jobs, take your money, they're going to live in luxury apartments while you're living in squalor. Yeah, that's outrage. Outrage is emotion. That's not logical. If you thought about it logically for an iota of a second, you'd say, okay, give me proof. I want proof that this is happening. And then if it's true, and there's an overwhelming amount of proof that's not deniable, then go ahead, clutch your pearls all you want. Notice how they never come up with proof. They just come up with words. Whether it's, illegal immigrants living in luxury penthouse suites, kind of like, what Donald Trump lives in with his immigrant wife who is here on a Einstein visa. Where was I going with this? Yeah, they don't ask for proof. If they actually did, they might find out that that's just a bunch of crap. They've been lied to. But they want to believe the lies. They're miserable. They're oppressed. They're miserable. Life's left them behind. We want to believe the lies. You're going to be our savior. You're going to give you the power. You go in and fix it. And we'll just sit back and judge. They'll answer his call. Some of them will anyways. Because they're all in their feelings. They're not in their intelligence. Now here's the thing though. We're in a more and more polarized society these days. And more it's obvious which side of the line you're on. Are you in the side of fear, isolationism, othering people, that type of thing? Or are you on the side of love and joy and trying to help people and be of service to people? It's funny if they actually listened to their Bible, read the Bible, understood what they were reading, and had just the basic grasps of what their Christian teachings would be, they might notice a contradiction between, somebody who says they're a good Christian, but, doesn't actually walk the walk or do anything to show they're a good Christian other than say they are. He's a snake salesman, he's a snake oil salesman. And they're willing to buy that snake oil. Okay, so that's the general energy. He resonates with people. He's a victim. Everything's against him, even though he's this incredible person who's super smart and super stable and super wealthy and has everything in the world and super strong, yet he's a victim on every front. He whines and whines and whines. Never seen such a strong leader whine so much. You can start calling him Cheddar. That's why they call him Cheeto, because he's orange and and cheese goes well with wine. Oh God. Will this make a significant impact in the election as Trump tries to convince the Christians to get in there? Will it make an impact on the election? Entertainment purposes only, The world card. Well, this is the most important election in the world, that's for sure. World is watching. Bring an end to this cycle. Now, what cycle are we bringing an end to here? This propaganda or democracy? Queen of Cups. It's going to be a very passionate election. People's passions are going to be strong, especially after this summer here. Oh, Lordy. And then we got the devil underneath. Really, there's a choice. Are people's passions, are their emotions going to run wild with them as the devil swords discord amongst folks throughout the world, in the United States and throughout the world? But this is also, this is the last gambit for Donald Trump. This is it. If he gets in, he gets in. If he doesn't, he doesn't. If he doesn't, he faces justice. If he gets in, justice will be delayed and denied. And the pastor got the Chariot. Okay, we're grinding forward towards the election. The Empress. People need to decide. Notice we've got some major arcana going here. We've got 4 of them right now. People need to decide what's best for them. And here's the thing. The Empress on the high energy provides for other people. She makes sure everybody's got enough. Not that she's got enough. The low energy is she's got enough. Lazy, entitled. Everybody bring things to me. The Empress is usually making sure everybody else is taken care of. Think of like Snow White and all the little birds and chipmunks and stuff like that in the forest, and she's feeding them and singing to them and providing to them. Also, this woman is pregnant with possibilities. You've also got women providing a big push here, whether they're going to vote based on their Christian principles or whether they're going to vote on their rights for themselves, their peers, and the younger generations underneath them. Another major arcana, the Strength card. There's got to be some wisdom here, showing the strength. And sometimes, what's that strength going to be? Is that strength going to be your strength in your convictions and voting your religious truth? Or is the strength going to come in to quell your fears and put a cap on your fears and worry about helping other people out? A lesson to be learned is the 4 of Swords. You got to sit back and think about it. This might be the hardest thing that we're asking people to do. And the phrase is play the tape all the way through. For those not familiar with that, it just basically means move past the words and then take the actions to their logical conclusions. And don't stop on the first conclusion. Vote for me, you only have to vote once. I'll fix everything. Okay. If we vote for Donald Trump, he's going to fix everything. That's not playing the tape all the way through. Playing the tape all the way through is, okay, well, what's Donald Trump going to do? He hasn't said, oh, I've heard about this Project 2025 or Agenda 47, if you will. And you look that up and you read it, it's like, oh, look at that, huh? They're going to outlaw federal ban on abortions, and we're going to build a wall, and we're going to do all this. That's great. And then it's like, keep playing the tape all the way through. It's like you've taken away women's rights, and now you're going to take away rights from the LGBTQ community. That's fine. I want those people not to have rights. They should just be having babies. Well, not the LGBTQs, mind you, but good white Christian females. Oh, they're going to ban same-sex marriage or same-sex marriages. Well, yeah, that doesn't matter because you need to produce babies. Well, what happens if a couple gets married and she can't produce babies? Does that mean they can't be married? Oh, well, no, that's different. Why? Or, oh, they're going to get rid of interracial marriage. Well, yeah, I'm racist. I'm against that. I don't want to see mixed races. Well, but can't they make babies? Well, yeah, but that's not the point. Those aren't the babies we want. We're going to stop all immigration in here. Oh, yeah, that's great. More jobs for us. Okay, well, what jobs are those immigrants taking while they live in their luxury skyscrapers? Who's picking the crops in the fields? Who's working the slaughterhouses? Who's putting the roof on houses? If you have an iota of knowledge in these things, you're going to know it's not, 17-year-old American men doing this. These are a bunch of immigrants doing the backbreaking work. Ask Florida what happened when they were going to get rid of all the immigrants and basically all construction came to a grinding halt. And crops like watermelons are rotting in the fields because nobody wants to do the work. Play the tape all the way through. What happens when you don't have your produce and your vegetables being picked and served to you? What's going to happen to your food prices? What are you going to do on that one? If new houses aren't being built, what's that going to go for the cost of a house if you need to buy a house? Oh, you're renting. Oh, okay. Well, your landlord, all of a sudden there's a lot more competition. There's a lot more competition for that housing. They can raise your rent. Oh, you can't pay? Well, this other family can. So you're going to be out on the street. Now you're going to be the homeless person who's going to be the problem. That, your solution is, public execution of homeless people or something like that. Play the tape all the way through. Find out where this is going to go. Is that really the life that you want for yourself and for other people? Outcome. 4 of Cups. I was asking what the impact was going to be. Some people are not going to be satisfied with this message. Some people actually will play the tape all the way through. And they're not going to be satisfied with it. It's going to be women. Women who have had their rights taken away and can see where this is going. They've read The Handmaid's Tale. Or they've seen dystopian movies where women are losing their rights. And their friends are losing their rights. And this is not what they want. They may not want an abortion. That's fine. Not your job to tell other people they can't have one. And every woman's going to have a friend or a colleague or a daughter or a niece or somebody they know that has had something happen to them. That having your reproductive rights and your healthcare rights would be very, very important to them. One of the things that Florida was trying to do was get rid of no-fault divorces. Let's go back to where the man has all the money and all the power. He just dumped the wife for the younger model type thing. And, You know, if you were a good old trad wife, traditional wife, where you stayed home and raised the kids, and you've got no job skills, and all of a sudden your 50-year-old husband doesn't want to be married to you anymore because the kids are grown up, and now he wants the hottie. You know, you've got no skills, and he's taking all the money, and you've got no rights. Is that what you want? Are we going to go back to the 60s and the 50s? What century? What century do you want to go back to the 50s? It's alarming. Sorry, not trying to scare you. Make sure you register to vote. There's a lot of Republican campaigns out there to start purging the voter rolls, especially if you live in a battleground state. Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Florida, Texas. I'm missing several, but you get the idea. Nevada, New Mexico. If you're living in something that's even close to a battleground state, double check that you're still registered to vote, especially if you didn't vote in like the last election or two, because they're trying to purge voter rolls. Get your like-minded friends to confirm that they're registered to vote, and then get out and vote. Your vote's important. This is the most important election in our history, and we've got to get Democrats in Congress and in the presidency. Joe Biden is already making announcements that he wants to revamp the Supreme Court. Basically, he's asking for constitutional amendments limiting the president's power, as well as oversight for the Supreme Court and term limits for the Supreme Court. The Republicans are going to be resistant to that because they've got a 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court. So you're going to have more Democrats in Congress so this can start going through there. And if you can add more members to the Supreme Court, and change the balance of power, then the Republicans might be a little bit more amenable to making these changes, because they won't be the ones. It'll be taking power away from the Democrats, not from themselves. Trying to fight to get our democracy back. Anyways, we can do this. If we all get out and vote, we will win, because we outnumber the conservatives by a lot. So don't panic. Just understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, who it's resonating with, and take your steps that you can do, the things you can control. You can control if you're registered. You can control if you go out and vote. You can control on influencing your friends and your family members to get out and vote. Okay? Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.